Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Public Works Committee, Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, Charlottetown City Council Chambers, 12 p.m. First order of business is to call the meeting to order. Item 2, declarations of conflict of interest. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Second. Favor? Adoption of the minutes, May 21st and May 27th. I have a mover. Moved by Councilor Tark. Second by Councilor McAleer. All in favor? Business arising? No business? Okay, thank you. We'll move right into our reports. Item 6. Reports and discussions. A, upfitting of light-duty fleet. Who's got that one? Okay, our manager, Albert, take it away.
Thank you, Chair, through to the committee. So we're just requesting the approval send this resolution to council that they accept the submission from Action Car and Truck Accessories through Canoe Procurement Program for the purchase of 3 dump bodies, 3 8-foot dump inserts, 2 2.5-ton truck caps, 1 slide drawer and cap, and 1 V-plow and slide insalter in the amount of $130,000, $796.72 plus all applicable taxes. We did, just for some background, go through Canoe for this procurement process as well as we've done in the past, and this fleet request will service Public Works, Parks and Recreation, and Fire Services. Take any questions if anyone has them.
Thank you. Thank you, Albert. The floor is open for any questions. Okay, do I have a mover first? I'll move. Okay, moved. Second by Councilor Tark. Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Councilor Tweel, I know that at our last meeting, actually it was the meeting for May 21st, Councilor Tweel asked for a synopsis to be completed on the pros and cons of purchasing versus leasing, depending on the different types of arrangements available. I didn't miss that. No, that's stated in the minutes. I just wanted to follow up. Is that?
Yes. Our acting CAO said that's correct, and our acting CAO said it wasn't part of the discussion.
Yeah,
that we were just dealing with that particular tender at the time, and she was right to say that.
Yeah, so I'm just going through this tender, and again, I keep questioning about, can we not go local? I know Canoe is part of the FCM, but I think on a yearly basis, procurement might go through about 100 tenders. So can we not find, I know that this is specialized equipment. If I go through the tender, it's a 52-page document. And it's, again, through Canoe Procurement. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, Albert, but it's Public Works. It's half-ton purchases committed from Public Works Small Fleet. That's on page 10, the document? Is this something we've done in the past? There's a lot of information here. Page 10, digitally. You see it there? So I'm just. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's in the report.
Yes. So I'm just confused. If you could clarify your question, is it if we've done this in the past or?
Yeah. So in the report it says requires 3 dump bodies to fit the Dodge Ram at a cost of $8,915. So the tender through Canoe is. Can you just? What page are we on to break it down?
You're correct. So that we are on that page.
Yeah.
That page is breaking it down. So Canoe We did go through Canoe to source, we kind of conglomerated everything together for each department. This is, in the past, I understand we've gotten the best kind of deal this way. Again, Canoe, a third-party source, but this is purchasing directly through Action Trucks and Accessories, which, again, for what it's worth, is a local Charlottetown-owned company on North River Road. The breakdown is just showing that each of these parts, whatever the 3 dump bodies that are going to Public Works, the uplifting the single cab for Parks and Rec, and then the whatever is needed for fire services is coming directly from each of their budgets as well. It's just our fleet superintendent has conglomerated these together because we've gotten better quotes this way in the past.
Yeah, so, Mr. Chair, the reason I asked, so they prepared this 52-page document for the tender. That's what the document is, correct? Did we prepare it? It doesn't go through our procurement. Is that right?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Okay, so we're seeing more and more of these Canoe procurement request and follow-up. So that's taken away from, I think, as I said, about 100 tenders that we do per year through our procurement. So, it's chipping away from the number of tenders that we have to prepare ourselves, right? And it goes for tendering for any restructuring or any rerouting of roads or streets in the city. We usually, most times, we'll reach out to the engineer or an engineering firm to put together the document. I'm just trying to get a clarification why we keep going with Canoe.
I think maybe if I understand your question correctly, that for this, it's almost the same steps. So again, our fleet superintendent would put everything together and, determine the needs and the specifications for these items and how they fit the fleet that we've already purchased or the fleet that we need to upfit. He would work with the other respective departments to assess their needs as well. The part that I think is different here is instead of going to our finance and having them posted on our website, we're using this platform to leverage their connections. We at times, get cost savings because they're able to get better deals because they have their own internal connections with different parties like we've done before for the trackless and everything. Yes, we could go out individually the same way for tender for all of these items. It is a little bit different. This wouldn't be something that you would go to an engineering consultant. There is no tender specifications or drawings to do up for this. It is, our fleet manager internally is capable of doing that.
I'll clarify that. If we're doing, let's say, road work, or we're looking at bigger projects, take, for example, the Belvedere roundabout.
Yes.
Harborside Engineering did the tendering, did the design, did the tendering. That's what I mean, we don't hire an engineering firm to look at what type of trucks we need. That goes through Steve McFadden. I understand that. So again, we're doing a lot of outsourcing when it comes to tendering, which I think is reducing the amount of efforts that we have to put through our procurement department. So I think that will make it much easier to come up with a procurement bylaw. Thank you, sir.
Any other further questions? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Motion carried. Our next item, item B, department update, capital and operational summaries. I believe our manager.
Yes, so if, as you can see attached in your report for the capital updates, we've prepared something we've done in the past here, Public Works Capital Projects Tracker. So there's a significant amount of ongoing work based on the capital budget that is listed here. I guess just some items to note, and then I'll take any questions if anybody has anything specific, and instead of going through each line item. Harts Hall upgrades, for example, we are, phase 2 is out for tender right now. Our street resurfacing, we do have 2 packages that have been awarded. Those are underway. Streets are getting paved. There's a number of other items on here with different percentile completions done in different stages that we're currently working on. So if there's any questions on the capital, I'll kind of take some time to answer those first, and then we can move on to operational.
Thank you. Any questions under capital?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this was brought up at Parks, the Standing Committee for Parks, Recreation, and Leisure. And I'm looking in the list, but I had the budget here for 25, 26 municipal buildings. It does have the Sherwood Rec Hall at 500,000. And there's nothing, I can't, again, I might be missing, the print is pretty small, I try to blow it up. Don't see the Sherwood Rec Hall upgrades.
I think,
It's it. Yep, so I just want to follow up on that. So I think this was brought up, Mr. Chair, back in January. I was talking to the former chair, and it was brought up under, I think Councillor Duran was on the committee at the time, and we were asking about, actually, it was I'm looking at the minute.
I think, just if I can maybe add some clarity here, Councillor Duran asked the question at a recent council meeting.
Yeah,
Our manager said that he was in discussions with the Parks and Recreation Senior Administration,
yeah,
that they're looking at, paraphrasing options, looking at what is the best plan moving forward, because eventually the Cody Banks Arena is going to be replaced, and the possibility of a community facility being built, constructed, similar to what we did at the new Simmons Arena at North River Road. So I think that's what you alluded to at the council meeting, our manager Yalbert, and I think those discussions, I believe, are still ongoing, and trying to be proactive to make sure that we come up with the best plan for the long term, I believe. I know, to Councillor Bob Duran's credit, he's been very determined to make sure that that particular community has access to a community facility with all the proper amenities. And not all the amenities are in existence at the current facility. It's outdated. To bring that up to today's standards, you're probably talking a lot of money. But nonetheless, Albert, if there's anything you can add to that, I know that you're still having the discussions with Parks and Recreation. I think what's really important too, whether it's yourself or Parks and Recreation, I think you need to engage with Councillor Duran, because, it's his ward. He's been asking the questions, and he's trying to provide a contemporary facility for his community. And anything you'd like to add to that, Albert?
No, I think that summarizes pretty well. Yeah, we have, Public Works has been working with Parks and Recreation to kind of figure out a bigger picture area, master plan, I think, if you will, for that site. Because, yeah, they're looking at Cody Banks Arena, and part of this, so right now we have a tender document that's draft ready, hoping it will go out in the next few weeks, out to tender, that will get us an engineering firm or an architecture firm or somebody that, some professional services to come up with a master plan for this whole site, which includes Cody Banks Arena, and Parks and Rec, as part of their work, is doing a building condition assessment for Cody Banks Arena, and then Public Works, as part of this whole project, is looking at Sherwood Rec Hall. The lawn bowling facilities are there as well, which also have to be taken into consideration. So we just want to make sure that before Public Works proceeds with Sherwood Rec Hall, any renovations, any new construction, that we have the whole site being looked at from a multi-department scenario to make sure that anything that's happening in the future is all integrated together and we kind of have the best plan forward. So that's the first step that's going to be going out to tender, and then from there, we'll garner feedback, have some public consultation, bring it back to council, and then develop the project further as we go on.
Just,
Well-
Mr. Chair, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think that's the proper way to go.
Yeah.
I think what's important, though, is that counselor be informed and involved every step of the way. So he's not, he's not left in the dark. So I don't know if that's your responsibility, or Parks and Recreation, or the CAO, or the community director, Mr. McEwen. I don't know who, but I want to make sure that he's kept in the loop. So he's not wondering, or his constituents aren't wondering. But I think coming up with a multi-purpose plan is the proper way to go. And we set the standards with the new Simmons Arena and North River Road. I think that's been a great asset to the city for the next 40 to 50 years, and want to emulate what we did with Simmons, like we did with that new facility. And we purchased the land there, that house. I don't know if that house is still there, it's moved, or I'm not sure.
It is.
Well, that's another issue, but nonetheless, there's a lot of land there. And especially now with the old school coming down, I think that we can do a real nice multi-purpose plan. But what's important, Albert, and I'll say it again, the counselor has to be involved and informed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we haven't progressed far enough that anything has changed since the last time we've updated Councillor Duran. So I think we're kind of at the same stage. We've been developing that tender document. So until that goes up and we have that awarded, there really isn't any updates to this whole project right now. So
If I
we'll
could just-
definitely keep that in mind and keep everyone informed, including Councillor Duran.
Mr. Chair? Yeah. So, Mr. Chair, again, going back to the minutes on the 22nd of January, Councillor Duran noted residents have been waiting for years and deserve a community centre. CAO Fraser and Brown indicated that the first step would be to prepare a concept plan for the consolidation of lands and services in the area, considering Cody Banks meeting facilities, and then to have a public consultation. So, Albert, I know you weren't here, but that was back in January of 22nd. We're July 3rd, 4th right now, July 3rd. I know you got documents prepared to go out to tender on this concept plan, but it did indicate, Mr. Chair, that PW, the Public Works Manager, Acting Public Works Manager Johnson, took this under advisement and will assess options to move this project forward. So this came up at our Parks and last Standing Committee for Parks, Recreation, Leisure, and that's when the concept plan come up, the idea of it. So the quicker that we can move in this, so could I just ask, do we prepare that document, or do we reach out to a engineering firm, Albert?
Yeah, so again, I don't think we have the internal capabilities to prepare that document, or nothing that we would want to hang our hat on, especially because the Cody Banks Arena part and that building condition assessment is integral to the whole thing. Public Works can draft something that shows the land there, the home we purchased and the property we purchased there, but it would be kind of outside of our expertise to see how that integrates with the asset management, the life cycle cost of that Cody Banks Arena and the Lawn Bowling Club. That's where we're looking to the Parks and Rec Department. That's why we're working together. So that's why we've created this tender document to come up with this kind of master plan for this whole land area. And then as part of that, they have their detailed building condition assessment for the Cody Banks Arena and how that's going to fit into it. And the advantage of one firm, one professional service doing this is they can speak to both of us at the same time and work it all together and see how those pieces, what the best options are from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Twill. Just a comment on this discussion, re the hall and the need and the facility. Does it make sense? Would this not be part of the asset management plan and the needs of the city? Does it fall in that lane in some way? Like, I mean, it's a fairly significant, I know Councillor Twill, we referred to Simmons and what that facility has, and we're talking about, we don't know where we're gonna land with the Eastlink Center and its, and its scope, so a lot of big things going on, and these aren't cheap facilities, and is that, I just hope we're looking at it at a high level and for the overall need of the city and what makes sense to be putting where and when and anyway.
Excuse me, my comments move us off this topic, so if we're not done, then I'll wait.
Oh.
I'm not trying to move us off, I'm just saying my comment is on something else.
Oh, okay.
I just want to conclude, Chair, and you already mentioned it, that Councillor Drawn, in looking at this concept plan for the consideration plans and services in the area considering Cody Banks meeting facilities, then to have a public consultation. So could we just, for the next meeting or in the near future, get a timeline, some milestones, some benchmarks on the process moving forward? Because, as he said, he noted that the residents have been waiting for years, and they have.
Yeah, I think if you talk to Parks and Rec, they're still convinced that Cody Banks can service the community for another 3 or 4 years, I believe. So that gives us time to properly plan it out. But when you take all of that property out there, including the property where the house is, there's there's a lot of property. And back to Councillor McAleer's point, when he talks about, whether you retrofit the Civic Center, or some people think we should be building a new facility, what we're talking about there is community-driven. It's not an entertainment facility, it's community, just like what we have in North River Road at Simmons. You look at the first report that was done in 2017, the author was Jonathan Hack. That's one thing he tried to amalgamate, and there was a strong resistance from the community groups. Community groups want a community facility they can call truly their own. So I think the ideal model is what we have in North River Road. I mean, that's one of the best facilities in Atlantic Canada. And if we can duplicate or emulate that same structure, that same facility out in Maple Avenue, I think the community will embrace it, but we're just talking generality right now. So looking forward to the process as it unfolds, Yell Bear. So thank you. Now I want to go to Councillor Bittard.
All right, thank you. So, Chair, I just wanted to have a question on the capital project tracker myself. So I'm just wondering if I could get an update on Exhibition Drive construction. It does say that it's now pushed to 2026. So to the manager, when would you anticipate that work being started in 2026? Any idea?
Yeah, thank you, Chair, through to the councillor. Yes, so Exhibition Drive, our design is about 85% done there. My understanding is that due to budget cuts, we had hoped in the past to have done that project fully this year. With what's allocated for it right now, it is another project that is integrated with water and sewer. So they are going to be doing upgrades there as well. We're hoping to have that out for tender and awarded this fall so that they may start some of the work. But again, this one is going to be a little bit different where we only have partial funding for this year. So this project will be something that we hope to try and award the full project at the same time with the funds that are allocated this year being spent this year, and then them picking up again in the spring and finishing the project early next year and hoping that it's completed. A major milestone would be before the Gold Cup parade and all of the action that happens, on exhibition there. So that's our goal.
So you are saying that you hope to have a shovel in the ground this year at some point in time? Or is that just from water and sewer's perspective?
We have, I'm just trying to find here, I forget at the top of my head, but Exhibition Drive, yeah, we only have $750,000 allocated for Public Works. Water and Sewer doesn't have anything in their capital budget this year, so the shovels in the ground this year would be from a Public Works perspective, so maybe they can start on either just purchasing material or doing a storm line or something like that. So that's, again, where the full tender package the design isn't at 100% yet. I think we've said it's 90, so my apologies, not 85.
Yeah.
But, once that's at 100 and we have that construction phasing organized a little bit better, we'll be coming back, going out to tender, coming back to council and seeing how we can integrate that.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that area is becoming increasingly problematic and to the assistant manager, Joey, I mean, remember there was that big pothole. I don't know if that ever got, I don't know if that's just filled in right now or is it by Bulgers there? Yeah, it's just filled in, right? Yeah, so I don't know if that keeps washing away as heavy rain in that area. Yeah. Okay, no, I just, and then of course, Old Home Week plays into consideration here and the businesses that are there as well. I was curious to see what could be done this year, so appreciate that, Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just on street reconstruction, Spencer Drive extension, we still have those two homes there, and you refer to the one on Maple Avenue, that falls under Public Works or Parks and Recreation? Okay.
Public Works.
So do we have a timeline to remove those structures? I know one's already, I don't think it belongs to us, 249 is up on a trailer on Mount Everett Road, which I think is a separate owner. So do we have a timeline of moving those buildings, especially the one on Maple Avenue?
Well, you talk about Spencer Drive. Before I go into that, I'll remind you that we made a commitment that we're going to have a public meeting with the residents. So the residents on Ash Drive are going to be informed as to what's going to be taking place with, the proposed road, Spencer Drive. I don't know what other details Public Works has to work out with senior management. I'm trying to keep abreast of some of the details, but I understand discussions are still ongoing as to what the financial formula is going to look like. I think you're still working through that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do know that we made a commitment to meeting with the residents on Ash Drive. They're concerned about increase in traffic. There's a park up the street, Mulberry Park. It's not that, it's right on that street, and they don't want Ash Drive being used as a shortcut to get to Brackley Point Road. So, just got to be cognizant of that fact that we need, you have to set up a timeline and time frame, and whether you have an open house or you have a public meeting, the residents have to be informed, and our manager's got to be there. We have to be there, and they're going to ask technical questions, and that's where our manager and our engineers, Mr. McEwen, I'm sure you'll be there as well, to answer those technical questions. They have to be given assurance that there's not going to be any increase in traffic whatsoever. So let's keep that in mind when we're talking
That
project of that magnitude.
Mr. Chair, that being said, we purchased the two buildings, so they have to be moved sometime. Whether we you know, have the public meeting or not. They've been sitting there and they're just slowly being dilapidated properties. And so I'm just asking for a timeline, and then the next phase in Spencer Drive Extension, just as the chair said, there was talk about a public engagement. That'll take place, but we have two properties on Mount Everett Road, one on Maple Avenue. They're not dilapidated, but we're making, you know, we're asking residents to clean up their property, so we're just trying to move things forward. Thank you. So, now, you don't have to give a timeline now, just maybe the timeline at this meeting, but we can just have something for the next meeting. For removing the buildings, nothing else. Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that we fulfill our commitment to a public meeting. Okay. Any other questions under capital? I think next is operational.
Yes, that's correct. So we have an operational report there as well. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions on it, but yeah, we've had our staff working very diligently across all our divisions. Summertime is a very busy time for us, as I'm sure Joey can speak on as well. But yeah, we're just focused on critical repairs, beautification, maintenance programs to keep the city safe and functional for the residents and all of the visitors that we get. So you'll see on your sheet just a little bit of a breakdown on where some of our crews are currently and what's going on. Again, this doesn't even begin probably to explain exactly the day-to-day work that all of our staff are doing. We could spend a lot of time here for that. But if anybody has any specific questions or anything like that, I'm here. Joey's here as well, so let us know.
Great job.
Questions? I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Pardon me?
I have a question.
Question or a statement, sir? What is it?
I just want to say.
What's your pleasure?
Great things happen here because of the staff, Public Works, Parks, Recreation, Police. But I do want to ask one question. It's regarding, and I did get the call from it's the Laborers Union. They were asking about the Injured Workers Monument. It's on the south lawn of the Coles Building. I believe in 2005, she read me it was Cheryl Keown that called me, and she said that in 2005, mayor and council passed a resolution, or maybe it was the office of the mayor, that we would take care and maintain that monument. So some of the names and some of the written part of what's on the monument is not very clear. So I just wanted to, you know, if you get a moment to look at that. It's the south lawn. It's used every April 28th. That's when they have the annual ceremony, sir. And just, I might have mixed this up, but we do have a Package A and Package B for street resurfacing. I just wanted to ask, are the timelines, are we keeping those timelines in those two tenders? You know, I think, Riley, you said July 1st, September 30th, October 31st. We're just wondering if there's a lot of work going on, and maybe we get a Package C.
Thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, the timelines are moving along pretty well. There's been some adjustments on a few streets to allow Public Works staff additional time to fix sidewalks and curbs and stuff ahead of paving. We were a little later awarding one of the packages than anticipated, so we've adjusted those timelines accordingly. But in general, timelines are being met and everything's moving along as planned.
Thank you, Riley. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Manager. Our next agenda item is the Disability Board meeting minutes. Any questions? No? Then there's the draft Disability Board meetings, June 17th. Any questions? No? Move for adjournment. Move. Second. Thanks, Amber.